and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to get them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
This is a good tackle as well, good refereeing as well, because Rubio wants a foul. That little deft touch, and then you're thinking there as an outside back, just hit the target, just keep it low enough, and he cuts across the ball, and Suva's just blinded by.
And we're live. Welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show. We're still expecting one other voice here, but it's good to be live a little bit earlier on a Monday evening to talk FC Dallas, North Texas Soccer Club. A busy weekend for Dallas-Fort Worth teams connected to the FC Dallas. As FC Dallas traveled down to Austin, and North Texas was at home against St. Louis City too. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope we get some eyes and ears. If you have comments, questions, send them into the chat. Of course, I'm Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer. We welcome back to the show, of course, Colin Couvert at Mr. Couve on X, and our good buddy Chris Winters at C Wintus on X. And Jose Carmona should be joining us here in just a moment as we get this show going. No clip from Eric Quill. I guess they didn't upload, or I didn't see it on the server, so I was going to have a clip from him. But let's just start with FC Dallas as we talk about this road trip down to Austin FC, an important gritty match for FC Dallas because you want to beat your in-state rivals. Copa Tejas was still on the line going into the match. FC Dallas trying to turn around their season, and they end up going down in what was truly a gritty rivalry match, a 1-1 draw on the road. Would you take road points in this league? But an early goal from Shaq Moore we saw on the opening of the show. And then, as Shaq Moore giveth, he also taketh away with kind of a little poor defending and an Owen Wolf goal to tie it up. But they settle for the draw. Colin's at work, so we're not going to bug him too much. But Colin, you went on the road trip. Give us your thoughts on the performance from FC Dallas.
I mean, I think it was the first half. They went about it really well. We know how Nico likes to play the ball and how to play, and they're without Brandon Vasquez, who's their leading the goal scorer, I believe, and their DP this season. He's been hurt for a couple of weeks now, and he's going to be hurt for a little bit longer. So they were only really going to attack from the wings, and they had Ilya Sanchez, who's 34 years old and slower than a Mack truck doing and everything. It's dude's just slow as balls, and then you got Danny P, who is aggressive, but he cost Austin 2 counterattack chances because he fell early and we couldn't capitalize. So putting them in the middle is very bold from Nico with Owen and Bakari on the wings. And with how we played that 5-back, like playing super deep, it had to be one of those situations where they were going to have to cross and to score. And their players even said in post-match press conferences, having to listen to those with my buddy in the car that's an Austin fan who's listened to those, and I heard him in the back seat, they were mad at themselves because they, something I was saying the first half was all they need is 1 or 2 crosses to the back post and we're cooked. Kumungo's not winning a header over anyone on that front line. Even Diego Rubio, he's not winning a header over him. And neither is Shaq Moore, especially when Shaq Moore gets penalized for jumping over the back of someone in the first half on a really good opportunity that would have been a shot on target because he took the touch down with the header. And, I mean, it was a full-on shot on target if he took it. At the same angle he scored from. So it's one of those things where, the first half we played really well. It was the right idea. And then once they figured us out in the second half, The Musa injury, there's nothing you could do about that, really. We did what we could. I think Stephen Ryan said it best on the FC Dallas radio broadcast that we should have played Julio on the wing with Logan in the middle, in my opinion. That way, we give Logan to the focal point up top and find them in behind in the second half, especially if we're playing so deep and countering. The fact we waited so long to bring in like Nolan for Ramiro, who was dying and struggling. I think substitutions. Quill was just scared to change anything. He didn't treat it like a must-win match, which, as a fan, annoys me. But man, looking at the performance as a whole, and with the refereeing decisions, I'm happy to get out of there with a point. I know the first half handball was a crucial no call, and to be honest, Austin fans are claiming there should have been 3 penalties for them. Out of the 3 shouts, the only one I'm taking is the first one. I don't even remember which player got taken down, but the second one where Uragide and Ozuni are tugging jerseys and Ozuni flops, they're both tugging jerseys. It's never a foul. And then Obrian in the final minutes clipping his own heel. I mean, I literally watched him and heard him like from the field on the front row. Literally heard him click his heels. It was hilarious. And he didn't even argue it too. As soon as the referee didn't give it, he just got him. He's like, all right, and he kept going. So I think a 1-1 draw is a fair result for how we played. But obviously with that first half PK, it's a little nauseating to look at that game and think, okay, if we went up 2, how would we have done it differently? Would we have bunkered more? Would we have flowed more? Like, what would we have done? But overall, I'm not overly joyous with the performance, but I'll take a point on the road in Austin any day. If you gave me that point beforehand, I would have taken it. So
yeah. I mean, a point's a point. Chris, your reactions to that performance?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same. I mean, it's one of those leaves you with a mixed bag of feelings, just because on one hand you see the handball early on, you're like, after the game, you're like, man, we could have left with 3 points, and then getting figured out in the second half, you're just kind of like, okay, maybe 1 point's kind of a blessing in disguise. So, I mean, I wasn't too thrilled about the performance, but I think overall, I'll take a point. Looking at the rest of the schedule, not to kind of jump too far ahead, but looking at the rest of the schedule, it feels like there's a lot of points available. So, you got to take them when you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. It's just being up 1-0 going into the half. You're hoping that knowing that Austin was going to come back and push. I mean, that's what home teams do, and that's what any team is going to do. But kind of hoping that maybe they would just find a way to gut this one out and get the 3 points. It would have been huge, but this is what happens in this league, and you make a mistake. It's what happens to this team. I mean, that back post goal was just like, hey, we've seen that kind of mistake all season long, and so it's just. This is who this team is still, unfortunately. But if you grade the 2 halves, I thought the first half was much stronger from FC Dallas. Austin certainly had an opportunity or 2, but yeah, really the second half is where it just seems like FC Dallas didn't make the right adjustments to what Austin was trying to do. And I'm sure Quill would look back at that and go, oh, maybe I should have tried something else. But I don't know. I don't know what's going through his head as he watches what's unfolding. But, of course, the big storyline kind of out of this one is Pedro Musa coming off at half. He had the little flick there, the assist. That just the guy is in such incredible form. We got to keep him as long as we can. But disappointing because maybe if he had come back on, Austin wouldn't have felt so comfortable pushing so hard forward. Maybe they would have had to stay a little honest, but without him, maybe they weren't so scared of what some of the FC Dallas attack could have done. Certainly, Anderson Julio didn't look super great, but the word after the game that I asked Quill about it after the game, and it just was a precautionary, just a tight hamstring, nothing that Quill seemed super concerned about, but they just didn't want to make it worse if they gave him another 10 to 15 minutes. So that's a little bit of good news, hopefully, although I saw just a tweet back at me that the team said Paxton was just a knee bruise, and he's been out for weeks. So it is,
take it with a grain of salt, right?
With a grain of salt right now, but hopefully it is nothing. nothing super serious. Um, you know, Colin, Chris, I don't know. We're only the transfer window, I guess, is coming to a close pretty quick here.
I
I'm
think 3
guessing.
days,
Well,
3.5 days.
yeah, 3.5 days. That's right. Yeah, and so I'm guessing we're not going to see any last minute moves. There hasn't been any chatter. I mean, we'd love a defender to come in, at least, push the team a little bit. But at this point, I don't know. I don't know if Dallas is working the phones or anything like that. What's Chris? You sensing that this team is going to make a move? Are we pretty stuck, kind of
It
with
it
yeah,
feels like they're kind of got their heels dug in. I mean, it's which is unfortunate as an FC Dallas fan. You wish that your team would be making moves that are so crucial to the success for this team because you took off Petter Musa in the second half, and all of a sudden, we're worried that we're not going to be able to score another goal. And defensively, if you have another center back there, or maybe a wing back that is a little bit more skilled after getting rid of Farfan, you're like, okay, we're a little bit more comfortable now. But I don't know. It just kind of makes me worried that, obviously, thankfully it was just a precautionary. But like you said, we've been told in previous times that, Paxton was just a knock on his knee or, what have you. But I don't know. It's a little worrisome, but
yeah. Yeah, and and boy, Quill is really trusting. And here's our here's our man. All right, Jose, thanks for joining us,
there we
Jose.
go.
I know.
Better never, I guess.
Yeah, we've just been talking about the FC Dallas draw, Musa's injury, and really talking about the transfer window right now. Just it doesn't seem like Dallas is going to be making a move, despite the need for a wingback, a defender. I've just been intrigued by Quill really trusting Kappas, really turning to Christian Kappas. And not sure I'm seeing it from Christian Kappas. Certainly don't mind him as a interesting story, a good squad guy to bring home. But yeah, kind of interesting to see Quill really see something that he wants out of Kappas. But what were your before we hit that though? What were your thoughts about the draw against Austin? Jose?
You mean the robbery? Because that 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 was a freaking handball, and I don't have any clue how that doesn't get called, and Dallas doesn't win 2-1. Dallas was robbed. So yes, I'm happy that FC Dallas got a point because they could have easily been screwed over even more. But at the end of the day, I'm upset about that no call. I mean, come on now, that's just sickening to rewatch that. And I guarantee you, if that would have been on the opposite side, it would have been called. And that's very frustrating as an FC Dallas fan is seeing calls like that go against us, especially in an important game like this where you needed that win.
Mm-hmm.
You need that win for Copa Tejas, and I mean it's not slowing down the momentum, but every point counts down the stretch, and it just kind of feels hard done by an official that I thought did pretty well otherwise. As far as Kappas, he's still warming up to the team. He's still got to figure out who's doing what. He very composed. I didn't see him panic. I don't recall seeing him make any mistakes. I mean, very professional performance out there. Nothing that really stood out. But for a guy making his first start on the road at that, I can't complain. I think we probably won't see what Kappas can fully offer this team until next year. For this year, anything we can get out of him, if we get solid starts, I'll be happy with that. Also, as far as no transfers, I wouldn't be surprised if someone's being brought in, but if we're not hearing anything, it's because it's not going to be a big name. It's not going to be a big name. It's going to be a veteran, somebody that's going to come in just for stability, for depth. It's not going to be anybody that we're going to go, oh my God, we're all excited that it's going to be something like that. Hopefully a center back, but I'm not holding my breath. the other thing from the other takeaway from that thing is watching Kamungo play what I thought was solid uh,
Mm,
left wing back,
okay.
which I'm fairly sure that been played there in the past and really struggled. So I thought I'm not saying he was lights out or anything like that, but I did like how he looked. He had his ups and his downs, but he was mostly up. And the fact they weren't targeting him, that tells you that he was doing a solid job over there. Um, I thought he was one of the people that looked tired. I thought several FC Dallas players looked tired, and I think he was one of them down the stretch. But other than that, you can't complain. Like I said, a point on the road is a good result. Still stinks, and I'll probably cry about the no, the no handball call, in the future again. But for now, I tell you what, the other thing about the draw is the fact that the teams around FC Dallas all had bad results. San Jose lost. Houston, I mean, they got a draw, which I guess is a great result for them too. But still, they needed a win to keep pace with FC Dallas. They didn't gain any ground on FC Dallas. San Jose lost ground to FC Dallas, and that's good. I mean, seeing you get points on the road and the teams around you struggle to get points, that's what's going to take for this team to make the playoffs. And I don't mean just sneak in at the ninth spot. I mean
Yeah.
to make the playoffs, to be above that ninth spot. If results around them go our way, which was nice little thing to see the following day.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, uh, yeah, I think that's the thing. Typically in this league, and we say it again, we say it for folks who are new to Major League Soccer, like in any league, in any sport, well, soccer in any league, and away points are usually hard to come by, just hard to come by. And so when you can get them, you don't complain, even if it's just a draw, because that can really help boost and help make up ground a little bit on drop points at home.
Yep.
So maybe you say, hey, we drew on the road, but this makes up a little bit for those losses at home that the team really, really regrets. And so it gives them a little boost as they keep just trying to build form in the right time of year. And right, we're still thinking, hey, this is possible. It's still possible for Dallas to claw their way into this. So get every point you can as you go. But to your point, Jose, I think we'd all be fine with just another squad piece, a guy to bring in to say, let's give him a run the rest of the season, give some depth, give another piece for Quill to mess around with. So we'll see.
And by the way, I also want to say that I was impressed with Kaladi, and I know some people aren't too happy with what they've seen from Dietzen, and again, Dietzen for me is the same thing as Kappas. As long as we get solid minutes from the guy and he doesn't cost us any points, he's a guy that probably isn't going to be a significant uh, uh, performer for this team till next year. Everyone knows you sign somebody mid-season in this league, they're signing for next year. So Kappas and Dietzen, whatever we get from those guys, that's I'll be satisfied. I'm not gonna sit here and call the bus if they don't have great second. The last what 8 games or so, because that's the norm. The norm is it takes a player a while to acclimate. I would expect Kappas, who's familiar with who's from the area and is a lot more comfortable. If one of them two is going to perform, it's likely to be him. He'll settle in a lot faster, I think, because he has people around him already, and he's familiar with everything. This is not nothing new to him. I also want to point out that with Kamungo, if they stay with this 3-man backline and Kamungo's going to be your left wing, we need to figure out who his backup's going to be, because I don't think it's a coincidence that um, uh, Jesus Christ, now I'm drawing a blank. Came in at played midfield instead of left back. Um, Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a coincidence. I think if it's a 3-man backline, I don't think we see Norris playing over as a left wing back. I think he plays in the midfield, and I think that's significant because the only guy that'll be able to back up. There's two guys that I think will be able to back up Kamungo at that position, and of course one is Torquato, but the other one may be Enes Sali. You could bring him and put him at that spot, and I know you guys are laughing about it, but they spent significant money on Sali, and if you guys think they're just going to give up on the guy, I think he's going to play just enough games with North Texas so that he can be loaned down to them if it goes to the playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point this season you see NSLE come in and play left wing back. I'm not saying he's going to be any good at it, but I'm just saying I would not be surprised if he gets a look at least. Because you got Torquato, you got Sali, and if you're not going to play Noel Norris at left wing back, there's a spot there for someone to back up Kamungo. You would hope it's Torquato, so he's played it there before, but I'm just telling you, NSLE, I would not be surprised if he's given a look. You can call me out on that when the season's over, but I'm telling you right now, if that happens, you'll say, "Hey, Jose said that was something," because we all know Sidley's too good for North Texas.
I mean, I definitely agree. I thought, not changing subjects too much, but he definitely played well. I feel like for North Texas, I think the only thing I would worry about is his ability to defend offensively. I thought he would definitely fit the part. He's extremely fast. He brings a lot of width to the offense, but defensively that would be my only thing. And I don't know how tall he is, but height wise he seems pretty undersized too.
He's tiny, but at the same time,
but I see what you're saying.
You put them at left wing back because then you don't have to worry about their defense. I mean, let's face it. You look at both of our guys that start at left wing back and right wing back. They're not known for their defense.
Yeah.
So it becomes. All I'm saying is it becomes less of a liability. Is what I'm saying.
Well, but then that also becomes a liability because look at how he drew to Austin. Shaq Moore getting dunked on the back post by not by Uzuni, who's decently tall, not by a center back, but by Owen Wolf, who's like 5'8". He just got outmanned and outjumped to the back post. If you put Sali in that situation, I mean, I could outjump Enes Sali, and I'm 380, 6 foot. I'm not getting up in the air. I can just stand there. So it's one of those things. Like I get what you're saying, and I agree. But someone we left out in that discussion was Anderson Julio, and look at how he played at that left wing spot too. He played left wing and right wing back in games earlier this season where we were trying to solidify a defensive stand on the road, and he did really well because he's got the work rate to track back like Kamungo. Because Kamungo's defense isn't the greatest. He did good. But there's a couple times Bakari, when they were in one-on-ones, Bakari would get past him because of pace and also just dribbling him off the dribble. Yeah. But Julio's got that pace to make up for it. So does Sali. I just think if that is the case, I'm not saying I'm kind of like with Chris. I agree. I think it's a good idea, but I would much rather, if Sully's too good for North Texas, if he's not going to find a role for FC Dallas, they need to get rid of him and try to recoup some money fast. But if they're going to try and keep him, why not give him a shot at left wing back? I mean, if we did that, I would want it to be more of like a 4-back almost, kind of like how we saw the first 3-back iteration that Quills threw out. Not this new one we have, but the first edition back in Miami and everything. If it's like that, where it's a 4-back in defense with Sali playing a left wing back, and then maybe he'll track back for a 5-back in the later stage of the game, cool. But if we have teams that are smart, and if we're playing low and they have to cross, we got to get. That's when if Sali's starting, you get him subbed out immediately for a Norris or for a Torquato or someone else.
That's where I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I'm not saying he's going to be given a start. I'm saying who's your backup? Who's the guy? NSLE coming in to run against tired legs. I can see that as a possibility. But as far as Julio, I don't want him at left wing back or right wing back. I want him up high. I want him where he's most dangerous. I don't want him playing left wing back or right wing back. Yes, can he play it? Yes. Can he be dangerous there? Yes. He can be way more dangerous up top. And that's where I want Julio. I want him up there terrorizing, and he hasn't been starting because of the injury. But now that he's getting back in shape, I expect him to start. I expect him to be up top starting, not left wing back, not right wing back. I don't want to see him there. Yes, can he play it? Sure. Would I rather have him if Kamungo isn't gonna be able to start for whatever reason, and let's say Sali or Taquados is backups, and you don't want to start them? Okay, I don't have a problem with Julio starting there over them, but I would much rather see Julio up high, where he's most dangerous,
Yeah.
where he can terrorize people.
To tease your
And
brain a bit, if we play this 5-back, are you benching Farrington for Julio, or are you gonna take like Leggett out of the camera and bench Kappas, move Leggett back and put maybe Farrington or Julio underneath?
but
Like
it gives you options though. It depends on your
it
matchup.
does.
I think you go with who, depending on who you're up against. You either start Farrington or Julio depending on the matchup, and then you got one of those two coming off to
Monty's
be
off
the
the
guy
bench.
down the stretch. And it gives you options, something this team hasn't had. And it's nice to have options, especially in the attack, especially in the midfield. It's not that nice that Kappa showed he can play next to Ramiro, because the options was Ramiro or Kaique, and anybody else that played was basically, an 8 playing a 6. Now Kappas comes in and says, "Hey, I can also play a 6." That's great. Now you got flexibility. This team's going to need flexibility going down the stretch. And when I say NSLE, I'm not saying he's going to start. I'm saying he's a guy that
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised is given a shot there, especially in the second half, coming off the bench, fresh legs to run at people from that position. It depends. Are you chasing the game? If you're not chasing the game and you've got a lead, then yeah, of course you're not going to bring in a Salih off the bench. But if you're tied or trying to get a result, not a bad guy to come bring in. Um, this team needs more speed, and whatever you can say about Salih, he does possess that. So
Yeah.
Well,
I like to see him give him a shot before they get rid of him. I like to see if he has anything to offer because let's face it, some players aren't great people in practice or have a bunch of negatives, but you get them in the game and they're just ballers, and I want to see if he can ball.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're mentioning SALI because we do need to touch upon North Texas.
No, Jose, the last guy with NSLE stock, apparently.
Apparently, but hey, it was at North Texas, of course. Welcome to St. Louis City SC2, the best team really in
Best
MLS
team
Next
in the
Pro,
West.
and this is one of those results where even though North Texas lost 3-1, the goals were really just tough ones, but ones too that came from North Texas trying to push, trying to being aggressive and getting off balance, getting out of sorts, leaving gaps, especially on the back post, making things a little too easy. But a 3-1 loss, but one I think that Gall wasn't too upset about. I think he saw a lot of hard work from his team. He saw a lot of fight. SALI made his first appearance when North Texas is coming back off of his loan with Al Riyadh. And he looked great. He looked, again, why they needed to loan him out in the first place. He was really too good for MLS Next Pro, but probably a needed body, at least for the moment, as with North Texas needing some help with Sam Sarver and Josh Torquato down with the first team. So an interesting result, but hey, credit first of all before we do it, let's just talk about this Aaron Essel goal, and I do have the clip because oh my Lord, just a special goal that really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, amazing. That's great.
World class.
My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was not prepared for him to take a shot from like 30 plus out, and when he scored that, I was like, I had a little bit of a freak out, but
dude,
it was cool to see.
And in the moment, it drew them level, gave us life, gave the team life. Just a huge moment for Aaron Essel, who is an interesting talent, an interesting kind of guy that North Texas likes to develop, who's getting some international experience out there and stuff. But great moment for him. Unfortunate that the team couldn't find a second goal, because I think they literally gave up the second goal like within minutes after that. So just a sign of the young team and the roller coaster the season has been on. So yeah, Quill. I mean, Gall wasn't too upset. He thought the performance was strong. He thought, this is there were some positives to take from this performance. Chris, I know you've been following them closely. Yeah, do you agree with that, with Gall's perspective on this performance?
Oh, 100%. I felt like despite the 3-1 scoreline, it was very much a game where they kind of walked away with heads held high just because you're playing the best team in St. Louis, who's been on a tear as of late and a huge unbeaten streak. Everyone looked great too. I mean, aside from the very last goal that was scored, I think in like the 92nd minute, it was 2-1 for, pretty much the whole game. The team looked great. A lot of missed opportunities from North Texas that I felt like there was a couple times where I believe it was Scott almost had a goal. I mean, there was a couple like really, really good chances that almost went in. And, if a few things go their way, it ends up being 3-2, 2-2, maybe in favor of North Texas. But overall, it was great. I liked the development from Harms early on in the season. He's a new signing. Didn't have some of his best performances, kind of caught out of goal a few times, but looked great against St. Louis. The only thing I was kind of disappointed in was the defense. Gavin Goal, a little disappointing. He hasn't had his best performances as of late, but Alvaro Augusto was one of those I was kind of surprised about. Didn't look as sharp as he normally does. I think if he plays a little bit better, maybe it's a 1-1 scoreline, but overall, I was pleased with the performance, and I think North Texas has a lot to be excited about because there's a pretty good slate of games for the rest of the season. They play LAFC twice, who's at the bottom of the table. They play SKC once, who's dead last, and I think has only won a couple games. So, they're safe for playoffs, and I think they can make it too. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they're solid. They're going to be. I mean, St. Louis showed why they're the team at the top,
Yep.
and North Texas, it's sure it's a loss and it's at home, but if there's one team that's going to beat you, it's St. Louis. I agree. We've got what, LAFC next, and then a
Yep.
very important game against Ventura County, because despite the loss, North Texas is only 1 point out of being fifth place, and Ventura County comes in fourth place. So that's a very big game coming up in 2 weeks, where you beat those guys, and now all of a sudden you're only 3 points out of fourth place. So it's a huge game with uh, like I said, a favorable schedule. Well, like Chris said, favorable schedule, and they can make a run up. They're eighth right now, but they have, with that favorable schedule, they have the potential to make a run up the ladder and play for position. I prefer they finish top four, but I won't be surprised if they finish fifth or sixth. And I'm telling you like this, with SALI back and Pedrinho getting some minutes down there, once the playoff starts and you're starting Sarver, SALI, Pedrinho, Tariq Scott, all of a sudden that attack will
Nasty.
be quite formidable. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
quite nasty in the playoffs, and seeing our midfielders able to take shots, make shots from that distance, that makes some teams dangerous, nervous. They have to basically, compensate for that and leave holes in defense for all the abundance of attackers that North Texas is going to have all of a sudden. They're going to terrorize some teams, because there's a lot of teams out there that are not anywhere near St. Louis's level. So yes, this stretch of runs, it's going to be very interesting to see. We know the problems with the defense, but this attack can cover a lot of those, mistakes that backline makes, because sometimes a great attack is your best defense, and North Texas seems to have that capability with Selly back and Pedrinho being low down there. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. I'm pretty excited to see how this team ends up when the season's all said and done.
Yeah, it will be. It's interesting, and they have a game in hand on the team, but beneath them, so that there's plenty of opportunities for this team to solidify. Um, this is weird. Screen just went black. That's bizarre. All right. Well,
Yeah,
let's.
the team behind them is the Dynamo,
Yeah.
and then the Whitecaps would be right behind the Dynamo, and then Defiance has a game in hand against FC Dallas, but they're like 4 points behind. So
Yeah.
as long as North Texas is in control of its destiny, and that's the bottom line. Is as long as they get results against the teams they should get results against, they're a lock playoff team.
Well, it is an LAFC weekend coming up. Let's round out the show by doing a little closing out with some predictions, and we'll include North Texas again. North Texas will play LAFC 2 on Sunday at home at Choctaw. Again, LAFC 2 is one of the worst, if not the worst team at MLS Next Pro. And then FC Dallas, of course, will be at home again against LAFC with Sun Heung-min in town. Boy, and they're marketing that up. They are marketing it up. So, but LAFC, of course, is always going to be a tough one. But maybe you hope that maybe Sun is not, unleashing his full powers just yet as he gets acquainted with MLS. But he looks all right against New England, so it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one at home, but you got to win your home games. I mean, you got to find a way to get a result. So let's do predictions first. Let's do North Texas on Sunday against LAFC 2. I'm going with a 2-0 win at home. I think it'll be a solid, and I think SALI's going to get his first Next Pro goal in a while.
I think I'm going to go 4-0. It's going to be quite the slaughter. I think if Sarver doesn't get in on Saturday, he might end up playing Sunday for North Texas. And I think with him, if you have SALI down there as well, offensively, that's going to be a really dangerous team. Sarver's trying to keep up his, golden boot race right now with 15. So I think he ends up getting a brace and North Texas gets 4.
All right. Nice. Colin? Jose?
You want to go, Koof?
I'm gonna go with a 3-0 win. I mean, like Chris said, I think it's gonna be a bit of a slaughter. Just the quality difference is blatantly obvious. And I know the attack for North Texas, sometimes it's running like a railroad machine, and sometimes it stutters and spurts. So if you're gonna stutter and spurt, this is the team to do it against. So I don't think it'll be a crushing 4-0 win, but I think it'll be a dominant 3-0 or 2-0 win. Yeah.
Jose?
It's gonna be a lot tougher than you guys think. Uh, when you
Drama.
look at how these teams have performed this year, LAFC has and North Texas have allowed almost the same amount of goals, and they've scored almost the same amount of goals. The only difference between the two teams is that North Texas has found ways to get results on the road, and LAFC has not, and that's going to be the difference. It's going to be a closer game than you guys expect. I'm going to go. It's going to be It's going to be a 1 goal difference. It's going to be either a 2-1 or a 3-2. And basically, LAFC is just again they'll look dangerous at times, and North Texas will be in for a tough game, but the difference is North Texas will find a way to get the points, and LAFC 2 won't. That's really the only thing separating these two teams. Is North Texas does actually have the weapons, and when they're firing, they look great, but they don't always fire. So, and that back line is very inconsistent and an Achilles heel. And if North Texas is getting their opportunities and failing to score, they find themselves in a lot tougher games than they should have. And I think that's the way this is going to go. It's a game they should win 3-0, 4-0, 3-1. And the stat lines may look that way, but it'll be a lot closer when it's all said and done, simply because of missed opportunities and stuff like that.
All right. Well, FC Dallas welcomes LAFC at home. We'll start. We'll go in reverse this time. Jose, what's your prediction about this?
Oh my goodness! You know what? I'm going to be a complete homer and say it's going to be 2-1 FCD, And mind you, I'm just being a homer on that. LAFC it, is a team that can steamroll you at home or on the road, and they're probably licking their chops to come to play against an FC Dallas team that hasn't shown any good form at home. Uh, yes, they got a result against Portland, but that's not impressing LAFC. I'll tell you what I'm excited about, and I always get excited about this. Is LAFC is one of those teams that is not gonna play a mid block or a low block against FC Dallas. They're not gonna respect the FC Dallas attack. They're gonna come after FC Dallas, and a team like FC Dallas has always thrived against those kind of teams. It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be back and forth, and if FC Dallas wants to get a result from this, they better score when they have chances, because teams like LAFC will punish you if you don't convert those.
All right. So, did you say the result, the score?
I said 2-1.
2-1. Okay. All right. Good. Colin.
You're optimistic, and I'm not. 2-0 loss. I think. I mean, I'm just
And,
gonna
and
be realistic, man.
Just flipping it.
Yeah,
The
I
optimism.
can't disagree with that.
And the optimism is just not there. I mean, like, I think the one we had one game at home where I was like, oh, we're gonna turn this around, and then the next game we got absolutely like smacked in the face. So I'm just being real. It's gonna be. This is gonna sound the most generic statement ever, but it's whoever's gonna score the most goals is gonna win. And what I mean by that is both LAFC and FC Dallas's FC Dallas's defenses are leaky and terrible, but it's gonna be up to the offense of taking advantage and finishing those chances. And I look at LAFC's front line of Buanga, Sun, and then I know Under's not there anymore, so the right winger right now is missing me. It was the America winger too, but I think he went back from his loan too. So it's one of those things where they have an elite front line for MLS, let alone other leagues. So it's just one of those things where, compared to our defense, I don't think we do well at home. If Coach starts like he has been the past couple of games, expect a revenge game and that dude to ball, because that dude's ready. Let's just say that. So I just think the emotions and then the quality on the field, I just don't think Dallas will keep up, especially if we play like we did that second half against Austin, or any game at home besides the one dominating win we had. And it was such a blunder this year and a luck fest that I don't even remember or care to remember it. So it's just one of those things, man. We'll see how it goes. I'm expecting a 2-0 loss. And then because it'll probably be the last thing I say, shout out the Collodi family. I talked to them in Austin, and they watched the show. So I just want to say, Michael, Julie, love y'all. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate y'all for watching and tuning in, whether it's live or the audio broadcast. I think they do both sometimes, or watch the video on YouTube. But I appreciate y'all, and I know we all do too. So love y'all.
And really, really great performance, Collodi.
That's
awesome. Fun, but yeah, that's awesome.
It was a great performance.
Chris.
I think I'm going to split the difference. Honestly, I'm going to go 2-2 draw. I think Jose brings up a great point. Defensively, there are some holes for LAFC. I think FC Dallas matches up really well against them. I think Colin also brings up a great point, but FC Dallas is FC Dallas, and we have our holes on the defense. I think it's going to be somewhat of a high-scoring game, and I think we're going to end at 2-2.
I'm cautiously optimistic too. Not just, I mean, I do think, a win, a draw on the road. I think Dallas is figuring some things out. Not that it's going to mean we're going to become a dominant team or anything like that, but I just do think this team is figuring out how to be a team again, and there's going to be blips and bumps on the road in that. But I'll go with the 1-1 draw. I think someone from LSU is going to do a fantastic, phenomenal goal. And FC Dallas is going to put in a solid performance at home. And that phenomenal goal will nullify something, a Musa moment again. And part of my question is, everything lies through Musa's health. If he's healthy this week, if he can start and play on Saturday, I feel good that Dallas is going to find a way to score, because the guy's just in such good form. But yeah, but I'm with you. It can go other ways too pretty quickly. One thing is, it may be one of these home crowds that doesn't feel like a home crowd because there's gonna be a lot of the Korean community coming out to see Son Heung-min play and support him as they've done before with other players, Korean players in the past. So it should be a raucous and fun crowd, and that could help Dallas. It could hurt Dallas. So we'll see. Well, let's leave it there. Thanks guys for popping on tonight at a different time, a little bit earlier than normal. But we may keep this time going forward just because of family schedules on my end and stuff. I hope Colin sells a lot of Pokemon and Xbox games or whatever it is he's selling. But
We need the hookup.
Yeah. All right. Good night,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Good night.
We'll of course post the audio a bit later, and appreciate everyone.